Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Locate. In today's session, we'll talk about Europe. We will talk about the physical and political features of Europe. Also, towards the end of the session, we will discuss the previous year questions from this topic. Almost there are around 9 previous year questions has been asked by UPSC which are related with this topic. So as always, I hope you have the atlas ready with you. Also keep the map notebook ready with you so that you can note down the things we are discussing this session. Also, you can mark these areas in your atlas. Okay. So without wasting much time, let's start with the session. First of all, let's take a look at where the Europe is located. So far we have discussed about Africa, we have talked about South America, North America, and here we have this region is where we have Europe, right? So through Europe, the equator is not passing through the Europe. Also, the Tropic of Cancer is not passing through Europe. Okay, so we have discussed this earlier. This region here, Morocco, is sharing border with Spain, and this region here, the Europe is starting from here. Also, to relatively give you an idea where the Europe is located, this is the Atlantic Ocean, and here we have the Arctic Sea, and this Arctic Circle you can see. On top of that also, till here the Europe is stretching, and Europe is actually connected with Asia through the landmass itself. Here we have the Ural Mountains, right? So from the westernmost portion of Europe all the way to till the Ural Mountains, we have the Europe, right? So this is the approximate extension of Europe, and this region is the Mediterranean Sea. So I hope you have you remember the places we have talked about: Africa, the Northern Africa, and this Strait of Gibraltar, and these regions, right? Now we will I'll show you the Google Earth, and we'll discuss the latitudinal extent of Europe. You can see the Google Earth here. So this is the prime meridian, this vertical line going through here, the prime meridian. We have talked about it earlier. It is passing through the equator as well as it is passing through the Europe. So here, these stretch of islands here, it is UK, United Kingdom, and through that the prime meridian is passing through. Also, it is passing through France, then it is passing through Spain, right? So this is the almost the western extent of the Europe, and here we have the prime meridian, right? And you can see here Ireland. So the around 10 degree west longitude is passing through Ireland, and if you're considering the Iceland, it is 20 degree west longitude. So have an idea where this region is located. The westernmost region, western side, we have the prime meridian, and it's around 20 degrees, including the island, Iceland and Ireland, including these islands, like it is stretching to the 20 degree west latitude. Also, in the previous sessions, we have talked about the Africa, which is divided or which is separated from Europe through this region, which is called as Strait of Gibraltar, right? This is the Gibraltar, Gibraltar is part of like in Europe, and it is politically controlled by UK, right? There is a dispute between Spain and UK regarding that as well. But based on the referendum, Gibraltar is still the overseas territory of the British. So here we have the Gibraltar, right? So starting from here, we have Europe, right? Similarly, when we are looking at this region, this is Ankara, here it is written here, it is Turkey, and this is Asia, right? So this small portion you can see here is Istanbul, right? It's an important city here. This region and this portion also, right? This portion also is Turkey. So Turkey is a transcontinental country. One portion is in Europe, and the majority of the portion is in Asia. So here we have this strait, Istanbul, and this region here. This is the Black Sea. The top we can see Black Sea, and this is Sea of Marmara. So here we have a strait called as Bosporus Strait. Through that, this Bosporus Strait separates the Europe from Asia. So west of this Bosporus Strait, we have here Europe. So here Strait of Gibraltar, remember that, and this place the Black Sea here. Here we have the Strait of Bosporus, right? So this is a southern extension, the division of the Europe. And here when we look at this region, you can see this island nation here is the Greece, and these islands are also here, and this particular island here, Gavdos, right? So this island is coming out as around 35 degree north latitude. So remember, equator is passing through equator. We have seen it earlier. The equator is passing through the equator is passing through Africa, and here we have Tropic of Cancer. So have an approximate idea where this location would be. And also when we talked about the northern extent of Africa, we talked about the nation here, Tunisia, right? So this region is approximately 35 degree longitude. 35 degree latitude, north latitude. Remember that, okay? So southern extension we have seen, this is a separation. One is separated from Africa. Another way, like here the Strait of Bosphorus, it is separating Asia from Europe. Now the next region here, as I told you, as you can see here, Europe is connected with Asia. So this entire region is not Europe, okay? So you can see here this stretch, right, around 70 degree around 70 degree longitude. So here we can see this region here is the Ural Mountains. I hope you can see this green color region here, right? And this stretch. So this stretch, So this stretch here, this is the Ural Mountains, and from here we have a river which is called a Ural River, right? So this is the eastern boundary of Europe. Beyond this, this is Asia, and here we have Europe, okay? So this is the Ural Mountains, and here we have Russia. So Russia is also a transcontinental country where the westernmost portion or western portion of Russia is in, including the capital city Moscow, is in the Europe, and the easternmost portion, majority of the Russia, is in the Asian part. So the Ural Mountain is like acting as a natural separation between the Europe as well as like Asia. So also towards the end of the Ural Mountains here, the river, which is Ural River, is originating from there and draining into the Caspian Sea. Caspian Sea, it is not a sea, rather it is a lake. So Caspian Sea, it is actually bordered in all sides, it's bordered by land, okay? So it is very vast, it is very extensive, and thereby the name sea. So here it is actually a lake. So anyway, the Ural River is draining into the Caspian Sea. So till this Caspian Sea, these regions we have the Europe. So as we are going towards the north, okay, so this is the Scandinavian nations, Norway, Sweden, Finland, right? So this island, Svalbard Islands, which is part of the Norway as well. So here you can see the Arctic Circle is passing through this region, okay? It is passing through Russia, it is passing through Norway, Sweden, Finland. So Arctic Circle is 66.5 degree north latitude, right? So this is extending beyond that, and here you can see this portion, right? Now this region, Novaya Zemlya. Novaya means, Zemlya means like earth, right? Novaya means new. So here this portion is part of Russia. So here we are having the approximate extension of, if you are considering the islands or the mainland, this is generally considered as the extension of northernmost extension of the Europe. So here we have 77 degree north. So you need to know the approximate location, right? So the south, it was around 35. So it's north, it's around 77. We are not considering the islands here. So if you're considering this island, Svalbard Island here, like, you can see it is around coming out as 80, 81. These islands are also part of the Europe. Okay. So we have seen the southernmost extension, which is around 35 degree. From Africa, it is separated by the Strait of Gibraltar, and from Asia, it is separated by the Strait of Bosphorus. And so on the left side, like we have seen the prime meridian, we have seen in the left side, and here we have a prime meridian is passing through UK. So Ireland around nearby that itself, so 10 degree west longitude. So we have Iceland 20 degree west longitude. So I hope right now you have an approximate location where the Europe is located. So when we consider the Europe here, politically it is in news, geopolitics, like Ukraine war, Russian war, and Russia trying to expand its territories, and various issues are going on. So this region, especially the eastern part of the Europe, we need to look at it in detailed manner. We'll talk about it in this session itself. I'll show you all the places regarding the Ukraine and Russian war which are in news that you should be remembering, that we'll discuss in today's session as well. So around when we look at this European nations, so politically, you should be remembering the Soviet Union and it got separated, Russia, and there are several nations are here, around 44 nations are here. So we need to discuss these nations, and you should be having an idea, especially since it's in current affair. You should be having an idea where these nations are and where the major physical features are located as well. So anyway, have a clear idea where the Europe is located. So this is the Atlantic Ocean, and here we can see the Greenland, geographically part of the North America, but it is politically part of Denmark. Denmark is located here. Okay, so this entire region we are going to talk about in today's session, starting from this UK Ireland region all the way up to the Ural Mountains. Then here we have Black Sea, Mediterranean Sea, and northern regions as well. Since we have discussed about where the Europe is located, here you can see that it is surrounded by a lot of water bodies, Caspian, Black Sea, Mediterranean, and there are in between small seas also here, northernmost region, Arctic Sea. So first we'll talk about the water bodies surrounding this region, which is very important. Also toward the end of the session, we'll talk about the bordering countries of the major water bodies. That also we'll talk about. Like for example, what are the countries bordering Mediterranean Sea? They have asked this question 3 times, in the previous questions. Since 2011, UPSC has asked thrice this question, right? So similarly, since Black Sea is in news or Caspian Sea is in news, we should be knowing the bordering nations of these regions. Also the North Sea is in news. So we'll talk about these major water bodies, and the bordering nations also we'll talk about towards the end of the session, right? But right now, in order to give you an idea regarding the water bodies surrounding the Europe, first we'll take a look at the water bodies, then we'll talk about, we'll start with the political features, and we'll start the discussion on the nations. In this image, you can see the water bodies, and this in white color region is entirely the Europe, and including the Iceland is given here, Svalbard region, which is part of the Norway. So let's start from this region, Barents Sea. Okay, often this region is in news because of the geopolitics. Like this is the region where the extension, this is completely here surrounded by, or it is belonging to Russia. Okay, so they does some various military based exercises as well as experiments in this region. So Barents Sea sometimes appears in news, very important. Barents Sea located here. This is the extension of Russia. Also here you can see White Sea, okay, which is also completely part of Russia, which is surrounded by the Russian landmass. This entire region is the Russian landmass. Okay, so we have seen the Barents Sea, we have seen the White Sea. Okay, so as we're coming toward this region, this is called as the Scandinavian nations of Scandinavia, and this is the Norway. This is the Norway, which is surrounding or which is sharing border with Russia. Okay, and this is Norway. So here we have the Norwegian Sea. So Barents Sea, Norwegian Sea, also White Sea. Now inside this region, you can see here, this is a landlocked, this is not landlocked, this is surrounded by land, and here we have a water body, Baltic Sea, which is also important. There are Baltic nations are here, we'll talk about the nations later, but remember the Baltic Sea here, which is inside the Scandinavian, surrounded by the landmass. Okay, this is Sweden, this is Finland, and this is Norway. So here you can see Baltic Sea. Norway is not sharing border with Baltic Sea. Rather it is Sweden and Finland and the nations here. Okay, Norway is not here. Also one thing regarding Norway you have to remember, Norway is sharing border with Russia. I'll show you a clear map later. Okay, so remember the case of Baltic Sea as well. Now this region, Norway Sea, after Norway Sea comes here the North Sea. North Sea. Okay, so here remember this North Sea. Mostly these names are given by the European countries, so predominantly UK. So from here UK you can see it is towards the north of UK. So remember it that manner, North Sea. So UK, north of UK we have North Sea. Then further north of that we have Norwegian Sea. As we go further towards the north we have the Barents Sea located here, right? Now, so here this is North Sea, and this region, right? This is France, this is UK. So France and UK, they are separated by English Channel. They are separated by English Channel. So this strait, right, connecting strait English Channel with the North Sea is called as Strait of Dover. Strait of Dover. So Strait of Dover, you remember we have right now this is the third strait we are discussing this session. Strait of Gibraltar, Strait of Bosphorus, which is separating Asia from Europe. Then we have talked about the English Channel is connected with the North Sea through Strait of Dover. Okay, so North Sea, English Channel, Strait of Dover. Now this island, right, this nation is the Ireland, and this is the Northern Ireland, which is part of UK itself, right? So when we discuss the UK, this is Scotland, this is Wales, and the central regions here we have the Britain, and here this is Ireland, and this is Northern Ireland, part of UK, right? So here we have the English Channel, which we talked about earlier. Remember it this manner, UK is separated from France to the English Channel, and now this region, Wales and the UK, is separated from separated from Ireland through Celtic Sea. So Celtic Sea here, and inside here we have the Irish Sea, right? So Irish Sea, Celtic Sea is very important. Irish Sea also UPSC has once mentioned it in the previous questions, so remember that as well, right? So we have seen the Norwegian Sea, North Sea, English Channel, the Strait of Dover, also the Celtic Sea, and we have seen the Irish Sea as well. So Celtic and Irish is connected, and the English Channel and the North Sea, they are connected together. Now further coming towards the south, so this is the France, which I told you earlier, and this is Spain, and this is Portugal, right? So Spain and France together, here we have a bay, which is called as Bay of Biscay. Bay of Biscay, remember that, okay, fine. Further here we have Atlantic Ocean, and this is this is Mediterranean Ocean. So Mediterranean Ocean, there are various small seas are there, which are all part of the Mediterranean Sea. So if you are being asked like Adriatic Sea, is it sharing or this nation, this is Albania, right? So if Albania is sharing border with Mediterranean Sea, yes. If Albania is sharing border with Adriatic Sea, yes, because Adriatic Sea is part of Mediterranean Sea. Similarly, we have various seas here. I'll mention the major ones. So these islands here, right? Some island is part of the France, and other islands are part of the Spain here, Balearic Islands, right? So the similar name, Balearic Sea, which is located here, right? Similarly, here we have this nation is the Italy, and this stretch here we have Greece. Okay, so Italy, this region we have Tyrrhenian Sea. The exact pronunciation I don't know. So make sure you remember this region, and make sure you are able to identify where this is located. This is located near Italy in the Mediterranean Sea, Tyrrhenian Sea, right? Now another one is Adriatic Sea here. So Adriatic Sea is actually inside this region, this region here. This is Italy, and these regions we have the Balkan nations. So here we have Albania. So till this region, right, till here we have the Adriatic Sea. Adriatic Sea is connected with Ionian Sea. Ionian Sea is part of the Greece. So here Albania, and this is Greece. Okay, we'll talk about these regions later. These countries I'll show you later, and at the end of this session I can assure you that you'll remember all countries of Europe. You will be knowing where they are sharing border, where they are located, and you will be able to eliminate and find the answers of all regions which are political questions, or the questions from political areas that are being asked from Europe. You will be able to answer all these questions, right? So stay tuned with me. So here we have Albania, this is Greece. So Adriatic Sea is connected with Ionian Sea. Remember this, Adriatic and Ionian, Tyrrhenian, right? And Balearic Sea. These are the four seas within the Mediterranean Sea we have discussed in this session, right? Further, another very important sea is Aegean Sea, which is located here, which is part of Greece, and here this is Turkey. So Greece and Turkey, they have various disputes going on. So the disputed places within the Europe also we'll talk about in today's session. So here, remember this is Turkey, and this is Greece, and in between that we have Aegean Sea, and this Aegean Sea here also we have various islands which are disputed by the Greece and Turkey as well. So here, Sea of Crete, right? This island, this is also disputed between Greece and Turkey. That we'll come to that part later. So Aegean Sea is located here, and this small region here, very important because of the geopolitics happening in this region. This is Sea of Marmara, right? Sea of Marmara. And here this is Black Sea. So Black Sea is connected with Sea of Marmara through Bosphorus Strait. Bosporus Strait is controlled here by Turkey. And here we know that this is Ukraine actually, and this is Russia. So Russia has controlled this region, which is Crimea Peninsula, right? So Russia is open to Sea of Azov, and there is a strait here, Kerch Strait. I'll show you the image later. So Sea of Kerch, Sea of Azov, connected with Black Sea through Strait of Kerch, and Black Sea is connected with Sea of Marmara through Bosporus Strait, and from there Sea of Marmara is bordering with the Aegean Sea, and thereby Aegean Sea is open to Mediterranean. So this region we have a lot of water bodies, predominantly Mediterranean Sea, these nations, remember. Then here we have the Balearic Island and Balearic Sea. Then here we have Italy and Tyrrhenian Sea. And inside Italy, here we have the Balkan nations. Between Italy and Balkan nations, here we have the Adriatic Sea. And near the Greece, bordering with Adriatic Sea, here we have Ionian Sea. Then here between Turkey and Greece, here we have Aegean Sea, right? Then Aegean Sea, near the Aegean Sea, we have Sea of Marmara, which is connected with the Black Sea through Bosporus Strait. Also, you should understand that Sea of Azov, right? So these are the water bodies here, and one more water body, which is Caspian Sea. Entirely Caspian Sea is not part of Europe, but these regions like Russia, as well as some part of Kazakhstan is also a transcontinental country. So geographically part of the Europe, but politically part of Asia. So here Caspian Sea is also located here. So Caspian Sea and Black Sea, they are not connected, they are separate. Caspian Sea is towards the right of Black Sea. Caspian Sea, not a sea, it's a lake. Remember that as well. Even though the name says Caspian Sea, it is a lake. Okay. So we have studied the water bodies surrounding the Europe. So make sure you identify these regions in your atlas and mark it, highlight it. So we have seen the position of the Europe. We have seen the water bodies that are surrounding the Europe. Now this is a political map of Europe, like Ireland, Scandinavia, Russia. Like here we can see Spain. So these around 44 nations are here. We are going to discuss each one of it. So this is the outline map. So this is the Caspian Sea, Black Sea, Mediterranean. Here Bay of Biscay. This is entirely Atlantic, Scandinavia. So you can see these nations. So when we look at something like this, right, we get confused. There's a lot to study, like, that mindset, as we have discussed this regarding mindset, regarding that we have discussed in previous sessions as well. So approach this in bit by bit. Slowly we'll discuss this entire region. Slowly you will remember the entire region. So make sure you are studying this region in the same way as I'm discussing in this session, so that it will be connected, so that you will be able to connect it or link it with each other, and you will be able to remember these places. You don't need the exact latitudinal position of these places. Rather, you should be knowing the geopolitics should be knowing. You should be able to guess where this region is. Okay, with that you will be able to guess the map based questions or make it right also. So the outline map, right? So let's start with the southernmost portion, where it is separated from Africa. So we have seen, when you think about this region, when you think about Spain, think about it is connected with Africa. Okay, so we have discussed earlier, it is Morocco and this is Spain, and they are separated by the Strait of Gibraltar. Okay, now Spain is sharing border with Mediterranean, right? Spain is also open to Atlantic. But this nation here, this is Portugal. Now Portugal is not open to Mediterranean. Very key or very important fact, remember that. Portugal is open to Atlantic, not to the Mediterranean. But Spain is open to both Mediterranean as well as Atlantic, and Spain is separated from Africa through the Strait of Gibraltar, remember that. And Spain is sharing border with France. This is France. So sharing border with this entire region, this is the France. Okay. Now don't try to remember any other places, only focus on these highlighted regions, right? So Portugal, Spain, then here we have France, and these small two nations are here. One is Belgium and another one is Netherlands. So I hope you have studied the world history. You have a basic idea regarding world history. Try to relate these regions, or try to remember these regions, or try to interlink various places using your knowledge on world history. You will be able to remember it in a better manner. Anyway, these 4 nations, you remember it, these 5 nations, Portugal, Spain, France, then here we have Belgium and Netherlands. They both are small nations. Okay, so remember this, Belgium, Netherlands, they both are open to this ocean. Can you, or this sea, can you guess at it? We have seen earlier, this is the UK, north of UK, we have the North Sea. So Belgium and the Netherlands, they both are open to North Sea. Okay, now here we can see this nation, right? This nation we have seen earlier. So this is UK. Okay, this is UK. So UK is separated from France through the English Channel, which we talked about earlier. Okay, so this is actually the Brittany Peninsula. Brittany Peninsula is actually part of France. Okay, and here this is Land's End. Land's End. Okay. So these both regions, they're separated by English Channel, Strait of Dover here. So this is North Sea. So this is UK, and this northern part is also part of the Ireland. This is also politically part of the UK, and this is the Ireland. So between them we have Celtic Sea, and here we have Irish Sea. Okay, so we have studied these nations, right? Portugal, France, Portugal, Spain, France, then we have Belgium, Netherlands, and France is separated by the UK, so that you will be able to locate this position, right? So France and UK, they are separated by English Channel. Bay of Biscay is located here, also the English Channel here. Then we have talked about the Ireland, right? Also this region, this is Iceland, right? Famous for volcanic and eruptions are there, as well as the North Atlantic Ridge, which is part of the physical geography topic, that is also passing through the Iceland here, right? So these nations we have seen. Okay, now the next one. So these nations we have studied. Now think about this. So here we have, which nation is this? This is Spain, this is France. So France is sharing border with this landlocked country. This landlocked country is Switzerland. Okay, so this is Switzerland, and Switzerland is sharing border with Italy. It is all the way stretching to this region. These islands are also part of Italy. This is Sicily, Sardinia Island. These are all part of the Italy. So 2 nations we have studied here, right? France is sharing border with Switzerland, as well as France is sharing border with Italy as well. So Italy is stretching all the way into the Mediterranean Sea, right? Okay, now related with this, so this is Switzerland, this is Italy, both are sharing border here. So think about this central region, right? This central highlighted region, this is Czech Republic, right? So Czech Republic, you can see it's more like of a flower. There are 4 quadrants around it, right? So this is the first one, second one, third, and the fourth one. Okay. So here, earlier this region was called as Czechoslovakia. Okay, and Slovakia got separated from Czech Republic. Now this yellow color region here is a Czech Republic, and towards the right of Czech Republic, here we have Slovakia. This is Slovakia, right? And there are 2 larger nations here. Okay, so this is Poland. Poland is towards the eastern side because Poland is sharing border with Belarus. Poland is sharing border with Ukraine. So this is the eastern side of the Europe. Okay, so Poland is towards the right side. Then here we have Germany. So remember, Germany is open to North Sea. Okay, Germany is open to Atlantic, it is open to North Sea, and it is not sharing border with the Mediterranean. So here, earlier we talked about these 2 regions, which is Belgium, which is Netherlands, both are sharing border with Germany. Also France is sharing border with Germany. Switzerland is sharing border with Germany, right? So this is Poland, Germany, and this is Austria. So regarding or related with the war, you will be able to remember these World War, you will be able to remember these places, right? So Czech Republic, then here Slovakia, Poland, here we have Germany, and this is Austria. So Austria is sharing border with Switzerland. Okay, Austria is sharing border with Slovakia. And Slovakia, very important fact, Slovakia is sharing border with Ukraine. Poland is also sharing border with Ukraine. So remember, these four or these five nations we have seen right now. So as of now, we have talked about Portugal, we have talked about Spain, we have talked about France, and France separated from UK here. And then here we have Ireland, this is Iceland. Also here we talked about Belgium, we talked about Netherlands as well. All the three nations here are sharing border with the Russia. Sharing border with Germany. Also here we talked about the Switzerland, and this is Italy. So, and till these regions we have talked about now, right? So, if you see these regions, will you be able to guess where this is located? Okay. So, when you're studying also, try to connect the way which I'm explaining to you. You can make your own connections, nothing wrong with it, but make sure you are sticking with one way of linking the topics, right? If you're following multiple ways of linking topics, like, when you're trying to guess at the answers, like, you will get confused. So study it in one order. Either you can stick with this order if you find this order to be like easy to remember, then you can stick with this order, or if you can generate your own order, doesn't matter much, but make sure you're studying the same order. So as of now, we have covered these regions. Now in between, there are small nations here, like enclave, landlocked countries. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it towards the end of this exercise, right? So we have seen these regions. Next, we will talk about the northern part of the Europe. So this is almost like a crown on top of the Europe. So here we have four nations we'll talk about in this portion. So these three regions, you remember this is Norway. Okay, this is Norway. So Norway is stretching and reaching till Russia. So this entire portion is Russia. Okay. So Norway is sharing border with Russia. You can see here this region. This sea, what is the name of it? Barents Sea, right? So Barents Sea is located here, and this one is White Sea. Inside this northern portion is Barents Sea, part of Russia. Here we have White Sea. So Norway is directly sharing border with Russia. Also, this region is Sweden. Sweden, right? So Sweden is not sharing border with Russia, but Sweden is sharing border with Finland as well as Norway, and this is Finland. This is Finland. Finland is having one of the longest border here with the Russia. Okay, directly sharing border with Russia, and this portion, Russia is open to Baltic Sea. Okay, this is the Baltic Sea. So we have seen three nations here: Norway, we have seen Sweden, we have seen Finland. Norway, this is the northernmost region. Sometimes it appears in news where we will be able to find Aurora Borealis. The sky will be lit up in green colors, like, red, different, like, hues will be there. So we have seen this Aurora Borealis, and that is very well visible from the Norway. Also, Norway have forts. Okay. FJORDS forts. It's a glaciated landforms. Okay, that is also seen in this region. In Google Earth, we'll see that. So these three nations we have seen right now. Okay, and this is Denmark. This is Denmark. So when we say Scandinavian countries, generally we mean three nations: Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. Finland is generally not considered as a Scandinavian country. Rather, this is a Scandinavia, and here Denmark. These islands are also part of Denmark. So also Greenland is also part of the Denmark. So this is the Scandinavia. Remember that. Okay. So we have seen four nations here, and Denmark is only sharing border here with Germany. Okay. So what is this nation? Netherlands, not sharing border. Belgium, not sharing border with Denmark. So Denmark is sharing land border with Germany, and it is a Scandinavian country, part of Norway and Sweden. So Norway and Sweden, Denmark, remember it that manner, so that you will understand this order: Norway, Sweden, and Finland. Remember, the Finland is sharing a lot of border with the Russia. So Finland is among the three, Finland is towards the right. So we have seen this region. Next, these three nations, they are generally called as Baltic nation. This is the Baltic Sea. Okay, this is the Baltic Sea. So Baltic Sea, here we have three nations, study the same order: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. It is in the alphabetical order. These three nations are in the alphabetical order. Here we have Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Okay, and this region, this is Russia. Also, you can see here this region, right? This region is also part of Russia, which is called as Kaliningrad. Okay. So here this is Russia and this is Kaliningrad, and through this Kaliningrad region, Kaliningrad, okay, the pronunciation is slightly different, but through this region, the Russia is having access to the Baltic Sea, and Russia has a peculiar geographical problem where it has a lot of coastline, but they don't have all-weather port, and this Baltic Sea and this port in Kaliningrad, this region, it is an all-weather port. Similarly, why Russia is interested in the Crimean Peninsula and this region, because this has access to the Mediterranean Sea. Okay. So anyway, remember these three regions: Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. Okay. So remember this. And here, these three nations also we have talked about the Kaliningrad. So now think about this region. This is Germany. This is Poland. Poland is sharing border with Kaliningrad. Poland is sharing border with Lithuania, not with the any other two nations, Estonia or Latvia. So three Baltic nations: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, alphabetical order from north to south. Remember that. Okay. Next, these nations, very, very important nations. This is Belarus. This is Belarus. Okay. Belarus. So Belarus is a landlocked country. On the right side here we have Russia. Then here we have Lithuania, Latvia. But notably, it is not sharing border with Kaliningrad. Belarus is a strong ally of Russia. Belarus is part of the European country, and it is ally of Russia. You must have been already knowing regarding the geopolitics going on in this region. And remember this, Kaliningrad is not sharing border with Belarus. So for Russia, it has to depend on Lithuania to transport. So this transit, the connection between the Russia and Kaliningrad is through Belarus. Definitely Belarus is an ally, no issues there, but Lithuania is not a full-time ally of Russia. So here we have the rail route is here through Kaliningrad. The Russia is connected with this particular portion here through the rail route going through Belarus as well as Lithuania. Right? Remember this. Now Belarus is sharing border with Ukraine. Ukraine sharing border with Russia here. So Belarus, Russia. So remember this: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Lithuania is sharing border with Belarus. Belarus, then we have Ukraine. Okay. Now this region here, landlocked country Moldova, right? Landlocked country Moldova, which is located here, right? And also you should understand this: Ukraine is sharing border with Hungary. This region is the Hungary, right? So earlier we talked about this particular region. This is Switzerland, this is Italy, and here we have Austria, here we have Slovakia, right? So Austria, Slovakia, both are sharing border with Hungary. Hungary is a landlocked country here, much like Belarus, much like Switzerland. These regions these are landlocked countries. I'll show you the landlocked countries, but remember the case of Hungary, and Hungary sharing border with the Ukraine. Okay. So we have seen, starting from these regions, we have come down and we have seen till these regions we have seen. Now what is remaining is this portion, right? This is a portion that is remaining. These are called as Balkan countries. Okay, Balkan. We'll talk about this. So this is the next region we are going to talk about. So I hope you have an idea regarding where these nations are located. Okay, next one. These are the Balkan nations. So here we have to talk about this one in a detailed manner. First, we'll talk about the ones which are sharing border with the ocean. Okay, so there are a lot of landlocked countries also here, and there are countries that are bordering the Black Sea as well. So here we are talking about the nation that is sharing border with Mediterranean, right? Mediterranean, these stretch of nations, right? Remember this, it is starting with Slovenia. Slovenia, okay. Now Slovenia, Slovakia. Slovakia here, Czechoslovakia, then separated from Czech Republic. Here we have Slovakia sharing border with Ukraine, landlocked country. But this is Slovenia. Okay, very similar to each other. Remember, the Slovenia is not a landlocked country. it is sharing border with the Adriatic Sea. This is the Adriatic Sea, right? So this is Slovenia. And this nation, right? This nation here, this is Croatia, which became very famous through its performance in the last World Cup, Croatia. Okay, this is the Croatia. So Slovenia, Croatia, this region you can see this is entirely Croatia, right? Now, after Croatia, here we have Bosnia and Herzegovina, right? Difficult to pronounce. Bosnia and Herzegovina. I'll show you the image later as well. So this is the Bosnia and Herzegovina, right? Next one, Montenegro. This small portion, this is Montenegro, right? Another one is, here we have Albania. This is the Albania. Now, till Albania, here we have Adriatic Sea. So, Albania, Adriatic Sea, remember it that manner, right? And from here, on the north of this portion, we have Slovenia. Not Slovakia, rather Slovenia, which is bordering the Adriatic Sea. From Slovenia to Albania, we have the Adriatic Sea. Remember that, right? Now, this stretch, this nation, right? This entire nation, here we have Greece. And this is Ionian Sea. Ionian Sea. So, you have seen these nations which are sharing border with Mediterranean, or you can say Adriatic Sea and Ionian Sea, right? Now, there are three major landlocked countries here. This larger one, which is sharing border with this one, Hungary. Hungary sharing border with Ukraine. Hungary sharing border here with Slovenia. Hungary sharing border with this one is Austria, and here we have Slovakia as well. So try to remember the Hungary also as a central region. Earlier we have taken the center to be Czech Republic, right? So Czech Republic, at the bottom there are two nations here, Austria and Slovakia. Both are sharing border with Hungary. Okay, now Hungary is sharing border with Serbia. This nation, this one here is the Serbia. Okay, so Serbia is a large nation here, and you can see two small nations here. One is Kosovo. Now, in the case of Kosovo, it got separated from Serbia. It's widely accepted by the international community, but still there are many people that haven't accepted the Kosovo. So, Kosovo is a landlocked country near Serbia. Serbia is a larger one, sharing border with Hungary. So, if you remember these details, you'll be able to guess at these regions, right? And this region, this one here, this is North Macedonia. Here, this is North Macedonia. So, we have studied three landlocked countries here, right? Serbia, Kosovo, then North Macedonia. Okay. Then also here we have Hungary. Now, Hungary is not part of the Balkan nation. That is why I have excluded Hungary from this classification. Hungary is not part of Balkan nation. This is the Balkan Peninsula. So, in the Europe, this is one peculiar feature about Europe. Certain regions have specific its own naming and grouping is there. So, I have arranged it in one plane. We'll talk about various groupings and which countries are there. We'll talk about it. But anyway, remember these places, right? Now, we have seen this majority nations, and here we have large two nations are here, right? Romania. This is Romania. This is Bulgaria. Okay, Romania, Bulgaria. So, both are open to Black Sea. Both are open to Black Sea. Romania and Bulgaria both are open to Black Sea. And this portion, this a small portion, part of Turkey. Okay, this is Istanbul. Here we have Bosphorus Strait, and this is also considered as the part of like Balkan nations. So we have studied all the major countries. Now, next one we'll talk about the small nations which are landlocked, also some enclave nations. So try to remember these nations, try to remember where they are located, between which nations they are. Okay. So here we have, this is France, and this is Germany. Okay, and this is Belgium. Between these three nations, this tri-junction, Luxembourg. Okay. So remember, this Luxembourg is located between Germany, France, and here we have Belgium. We have Luxembourg. Now look at here, Switzerland. This is Switzerland, and this is Austria. Between Switzerland and Austria, we have Liechtenstein, right? Liechtenstein. Also, look at here. We have Andorra. Andorra is located here, Spain, France. Between that, we have Andorra. Also, this region, Catalonia, which is in having like an issues with the Spain, trying to be a separate sovereign country here. So here we have Andorra, right, which is sharing border between Spain and France. Okay, now coming to Italy, there are two regions we need to remember. One, San Marino, separate sovereign country. San Marino, it's not sharing border with here the Adriatic Sea, but remember it is in the northern part on the Adriatic Sea side. Then we have the smallest country in Europe, Vatican City, which is inside an enclave in the within the Italy. So that we have seen San Marino, Vatican City, Andorra, Luxembourg, Liechtenstein. Also we have to see here Monaco. Okay, Monaco is also an enclave here, which is in France. So France here is having is associated with multiple small nations here. Luxembourg, Andorra, Monaco. Three of them is here, right? Remember that. Also, in the case of Italy, we can see San Marino and Vatican City. Also, Liechtenstein sharing border with Switzerland and Austria. Remember that. Okay. Then the two nations which I told you earlier, Kosovo, North Macedonia. Kosovo is sharing border with Serbia because it got separated from Serbia only, right? So with this, we are concluding with the nations in the Europe. We have seen all the nations. Try to study this in the same order. We'll just quickly browse through these nations. So here we have Portugal, Spain, France, then Belgium and Netherlands. And here France is separated by English Channel from UK, and the UK is separated from here Ireland by Celtic Sea. Also here we have Irish Sea, and we have Iceland located here. These are the first nations we have studied, right? Then we talked about this region, which is Switzerland, and this is Italy, right? Then we talked about this central region, which is Czech Republic, and also four nations surrounding it. Okay, the one, Poland, which is towards the eastern side. Then we have Germany open to the North Sea. Then here we have this one, we have Austria sharing border with Germany as well as Switzerland. Then here we have Slovakia, which got separated from the Czech Republic, right? Slovakia is sharing border with Ukraine as well. Then we talked about these nations, the Scandinavian countries, Norway, Sweden and Denmark. Also here we have Finland. These three nations are called Scandinavia, and then we have Finland here. Norway sharing border with Russia, Finland sharing border with Russia, Sweden not sharing border with the Russia at all. Then we talked about this region through which Russia is having access to Baltic Sea. Also Kaliningrad Russia is having access to the Baltic Sea. And then three nations we studied here: Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania in the alphabetical order. Then we talked about Belarus, we talked about Ukraine and Moldova, enclave nation, which is shared by Romania and Ukraine. Then here we have two larger nations here, Romania and Bulgaria, which are open to Black Sea. Then we talked about this Balkan nations, starting with Slovenia, then Croatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina, then here we have Montenegro, then here we have Albania. So from Slovenia till Albania, we have the Adriatic Sea. Beyond that, here we have Greece, and this is Ionian Sea. Okay. Then three landlocked countries we talked about here: Serbia, Kosovo, North Macedonia. Then this is Romania, Bulgaria, right? And it is surrounded by north. We have Barents Sea, White Sea. Then here we have Atlantic Ocean, Arctic Ocean here. Then this is North Sea, north of UK. Then inside here we have Baltic Sea, right? Then this is English Channel. This is Celtic Sea. This is Irish Sea. This is Bay of Biscay, shared between Spain and France. Okay, Portugal is open to Atlantic, not to the Mediterranean, but Spain is open to both Atlantic and Mediterranean. So this is entirely the Mediterranean Sea. We talked about the Adriatic Sea, Ionian Sea, Aegean Sea. Then we talked about Black Sea here. Then here we have Sea of Marmara, Sea of Azov, also this location Caspian Sea. Okay, so political features, we have seen it in detail, the water bodies surrounding it, also the nations, the land borders also we have seen. Now these nations and their land borders, it will become more clear when we talk about the physical features. So next we'll talk about the physical features, but I think before starting with the physical features, one predominant thing you should be studying from this region, one favorite area of UPSC is that bordering countries. Okay, so they tend to ask these countries which are in news, they'll ask about where that location is, what are the bordering countries. So we need to talk about Russia. We'll talk about we'll limit the Russia's discussion to the European countries alone, which are the nations sharing border with Russia. Then we have to talk about the Ukraine region. They have already asked Ukraine. The next one, I'm expecting they'll be asking question based on Belarus. It's a landlocked country here as well. So we'll take a look at these bordering nations of these main important current affair related countries as well. Then we'll start with the physical features. Now quickly we'll go through the landlocked countries as well. We have seen it earlier itself. Here you can see Belarus, Moldova, then Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Serbia, Kosovo, North Macedonia. It is not written here, it is North Macedonia, right? Then here we have Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, Switzerland, right? Austria, Andorra, Vatican City. It's a landlocked country, right? San Marino, not sharing, it's not port city, rather it is an enclave, San Marino and Vatican City as well, right? Landlocked countries. Okay, now this image shows the countries that are sharing border with Russia. Countries that are sharing border with Russia. I'm limiting myself to the European countries, not coming towards the Asian nations. So here the one from the north side, the first thing you should remember is Norway is sharing border with Russia. Also Finland, recently a NATO country, like it is sharing border with the Russia, right? Then here we have alphabetical order, 3 nations, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and also here we have Kaliningrad, which is part of the Russia. Thereby, this region, Poland, can also be considered as sharing border with Russia, right? Then 2 nations, Belarus, then here we have Ukraine. All these nations, they are sharing border with Russia, right? Moving further. So we have seen the Russia's case. Now we will talk about the Ukraine. So Ukraine here, it is Ukraine located here. Definitely Russia is here, right? Russia is sharing border with Ukraine. Also Belarus. So these are the 2 easier options. Belarus, Russia, both are sharing border with Ukraine. Then here we have the landlocked or enclave nation, Moldova. Moldova is located near to the west of Ukraine, which is sharing border with Ukraine. Then here we have Romania. Now remember this, Bulgaria towards the southern side, very near to the Aegean Sea, but it is not sharing border with Aegean, but it is only sharing border with Black Sea. But Bulgaria is not sharing border with Ukraine. Only Romania is sharing border with Ukraine. Then here we have, in the order itself, here we have this particular country, Hungary. Then here we have Slovakia, Poland. So remember this central country and the eastern side, 2 nations we talked about it, Poland, Slovakia, both are sharing border with Ukraine. Also Hungary, that another central country which is again sharing border with Ukraine. Okay, next one, Belarus. Okay, so this is the Belarus. Now notably Belarus, Estonia is not sharing border with Belarus. Latvia and Lithuania both are sharing border with Belarus. Now which nation is sharing border with Kaliningrad? Latvia or Lithuania? Lithuania, right? So the trade route is Kaliningrad, Lithuania, Belarus and Russia, right? Then when you consider the Belarus, this eastern side is okay, right? Russia, Ukraine. Then this northern side, Latvia, Lithuania. On the western side, here we have only 1 nation, which is a larger nation, which is Poland. So when you really look at it, right? So these nations are large nations, right? These are large nations. So here we have small countries are located here. Also relatively Romania, Bulgaria. So in different manner you can connect or you can link with each other and remember these, which are the larger nations, smaller nations, some nations that are difficult to pronounce, right? So that difficulty becomes the point or becomes a center of attention there. So much so that you remember it. You may not know how to pronounce it properly. It's very difficult to pronounce. You know it. But because of that, you might remember that place, and the nearby region also you might remember. So try to use whatever different ways in which you can remember these places, right? So now I have laid a way in which these regions are linked together. Try to remember it in the same way or develop your own way. But anyway, try to study these regions and you should be in a position to guess where these locations are. Okay, if the name is there, you should be able to locate where they are, and the current affair or the current affair related nations, the bordering countries are also important. So now we have seen 3 nations, Belarus, Ukraine and Russia, the bordering nations we have seen. Now we'll talk about the classification. There, as I told you earlier, in Europe there are certain nations, there are groupings are there, there are certain terms are also which has been used historically. So you should be knowing these terms. The first one, you've already seen it earlier. I'll go through it quickly. Scandinavia. Scandinavia means Norway, Sweden, Denmark. Very notably, Finland is not here. Remember that. Okay. Also, one important place here, Gulf of Bothnia. Gulf of Bothnia is this part of Sweden and Finland. Remember that as well. There you can see here Baltic Sea on the this side, western side, North Sea. So the Scandinavian countries on the east side we have Baltic Sea, but Norway is not open to Baltic Sea. Sweden, Norway, Denmark, both are open to North Sea. Okay, but to the Baltic Sea, only in Denmark and Sweden is open to here, right? So this is the first one, Scandinavia. Then we have Nordic countries. Nordic countries are easy to understand. These 3 nations are already there, right? Norway, Sweden, Denmark is already there. Then comes Finland, okay? Then comes Iceland. So Finland, Iceland, along with the Scandinavian nations, together we call it as Nordic countries, okay? Remember that. Next one, Balkan nations. Balkan nations, this is Hungary. Hungary is not part of the Balkan nations. So Balkan nations entirely, it's not a geographical classification. There's a cultural aspect as well. So starting from Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Montenegro, then here we have Albania, then Greece, right? So till here we have Adriatic Sea. Starting from Slovenia till Albania we have the Adriatic Sea. This is Ionian Sea, right? So here in the inside region we have the Serbia, Kosovo, North Macedonia, all are landlocked, the same order studied. Then 2 larger countries here, Romania, Bulgaria, and this portion, this is Bosphorus Strait, western side of the Bosphorus Strait with the European part of Turkey. So here this is Turkey. So all these countries together we call it as like a Balkan nations, right? So we have seen Scandinavian countries, Nordic countries, we have seen Balkan nations also. This one, these 3 nations, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, they are open to the Baltic Sea. Therefore, they're called as Baltic nations. None of the other countries, Poland or Finland, they are not included in the Baltic countries. These 3 nations in the alphabetical order, Estonia, Latvia and Lithuania, these 3 countries together, they're called as Baltic nations. So 4 classifications, Scandinavia, Nordic, Balkan nations, Baltic nations. So we have seen the major classifications here. Now we are ready to begin with the physical features. So as we discuss the physical features, we'll go through the mountains, we'll go through the rivers, lakes, like the major peninsular regions. Similarly, we'll also talk about the islands and the major volcanoes in this region as well. So in this region, there are a lot of rivers, like there are important 21 rivers. You should be remembering the name. So we'll talk about these rivers, the mountains, and these physical features. We'll start with the physical features now. Here you can see the Google Earth, Europe, you can see major mountains we'll discuss, then I'll show you the image. So the first one here, we should be starting this region here, right? This is the Ural Mountains, all the way stretching from here till here we have Ural Mountains. Okay, so this is the first mountain. So Europe is separated from Asia first through the Ural Mountains. Then here, this region, this is Turkey, right? And this region here, this mountain right? Caucasus Mountain. I'll show you the name Caucasus Mountain, which is located here, which is separating Asia from Europe. It's a natural border. Okay, this is Caspian Sea, and here we have the Ural River. So this entire stretch, right? This entire stretch is actually part of Europe, right? So we talked about two regions, Ural Sea. Then we are talked about the Caucasus Mountain, and here the most important peak or the highest peak in Europe is actually located here in the Caucasus Mountain, which is called as Mount Elbrus, which is part of the Caucasus Mountain, which is here separating Asia and Europe. Then apart from that, next region that you should be knowing, or next elevated region, the major mountain here, which is located this region, right? This entire region is mountainous region. In the southern part of the Europe, we have the mountainous region. The reason is that the African plate and the minor plates in this region, they have collided with the this region, and they have created the fold mountains, much like the Himalayan region. The fold mountain, due to the compression, due to the collision, they have created the fold mountain. Similarly, we have the Alps mountain. They are bit more older, not very old, but bit more older than the Himalayan mountain. Thereby, the Alps have lesser elevation than the Himalayas. Okay. Nonetheless, Alps mountain very important. This stretch here, I hope you can see the difference in the way it is given. This region, it is the Alps mountain, right? Switzerland, Austria, Germany, France, right? These regions are sharing border with the this particular Alps mountain, right? Then here we have this stretch, Apennines mountain, and here we have, this is Balkan mountains, Balkan Peninsula, or these regions, Balkan Plateau. Different names are there, but remember it is Balkans, right? Then here you can see a crescent shape is given here, right? This one. This is the Carpathian Mountains, right? The Carpathian Mountains, so we have talked about Alps, we have talked about the Apennines mountain, Balkan mountains here, then we have talked about the Carpathian Mountains. Now coming toward this region here, right? So this is Spain, Madrid. This is Spain, this is France. Okay. In between there is a natural border which is located here. This is Pyrenees mountain, right? Which is located in this region. Towards the west of Pyrenees mountain, here we have Cantabrian mountains, which are located here. I'll show you a better image later, but remember the Cantabrian mountains, we have the Pyrenees mountain, which is here acting as a natural border between Spain and France. Now coming towards the London, here this is Wales, part of the UK, not London, part of the UK, and this is the Cambrian mountains. This Cambrian is a time period in the geological time scale, and here the Cambrian rocks are very well exposed, and thereby this name Cambrian mountains are located here. I'm mentioning the major mountains, okay? And here this is towards the top, you cannot see this in the here, but this is the Scandinavian mountains, right? Scandinavian mountains. So here, this is the Scandinavian mountains. So the rivers are draining northward. Okay, this is a glaciated region. So here the landforms will be glaciated landforms will be there. Okay, so in Norway is really famous for a particular type of landform which is called as fjord. Okay, so here you can see these grooves. These are like large tracts of masses of land masses being eroded away because of the glaciers melting, creating the forts, right? Not fjord or fort. These landforms are very well located here in these regions. Okay, so these are the Scandinavian mountain. So we have studied the major mountains. We'll just quickly revise the mountains through a different map. So you can see the physical map here. The elevated regions are given in the dark brown yellowish region, and these are the central elevated regions in the Europe. Different rivers are originating from these regions. We'll talk about it when we're discussing the rivers. But now let's talk about the mountain. The first one is the Ural Mountains. The second one here, try to remember the name. What is it? Caucasus Mountain, right? And the peak here in the Caucasus Mountain is Mount Elbrus. And the third one is Alps Mountain here. This is this brown color. This is the Alps Mountain. Now the fourth one here is Apennines Mountain. This entire stretch in the the Italy. Here we have Apennines Mountain. Then here we have the Balkan Mountains located here. Now can you see the crescent shape here? right? This crescent-shaped mountain here is Carpathian Mountains, right? Now coming to this region here, this is the Pyrenees Mountain, this is the Cantabrian Mountain, and this 8 given here, this is the Pyrenees Mountain, acting as a natural border between Spain and France, right? Now looking at this region, like you can see in UK, this region is given an elevated region. There are some mountains located here also. So then one is Cambrian Mountains are located here, and Pennine Range, which I didn't mention earlier. Pennine Range is, this Cambrian Mountain Range is in Wales, part of UK itself. But the central region here, we can see the Pennine Mountain. Then we can find the Scandinavian region, Scandinavian mountains here as well. So we have seen the major mountains in the Europe. Now we'll talk about the peninsular regions. Europe, when it comes to Europe, there are a lot of peninsula regions, islands are there. Because when we consider the case of Europe as a continent, the land to coastline ratio is the highest in this region. Not even in the North America, more than that, much more than that. Here, the land to coastline ratio is very high in the Europe. For the same reason, there are a lot of peninsular regions are there. Peninsula means the land that is extended towards the ocean. The 3 sides will be covered by water body. 1 region will be covered or connected with the land. Okay, so there are a lot of peninsular region here. Geopolitically very important. This region here is the Kola Peninsula. Kola, right? This is the Kola Peninsula, which is part of, can you guess the nation? Which nation is here? This is Finland, Sweden, Norway. This one is Russia. So, and this water body here, this is White Sea. This water body here is Barents Sea. Remember that. Okay. So we have seen the Kola Peninsula located here. Coming further south, this region, right? Norway, Sweden together, the Denmark, Scandinavian country, but this is also called as the Scandinavian Peninsula. Easy to remember, right? Not going through much detail through it. This region here, okay, this region here, part of Denmark, also northern part of Germany also, right? Denmark is only sharing border with Germany, remember that, okay? So Germany, northern part of Germany, as well as Denmark together is called as Jutland, right? Earlier, the people called as Jutes located here. Later, when they were like in other settlements came here, they started calling it as with the previous people who settled here. That's how the name came into being, Jutland. Okay. Then further coming here, we have seen this region earlier, right? This is UK and this is France. Okay. And here this region, this peninsular region, here we have Brittany Peninsula, Brittany. So when we hear this name Brittany, we first of all, we might think that it is related with UK. No, Brittany Peninsula is part of France. Okay. And this region here, this end region is Land's End. Land's End. In Atlas also, you will be able to see this name given here. So, the Brittany Peninsula separated from Land's End through the English Channel. And the English Channel is connected with the North Sea through Strait of Dover. Remember these cases, right? Strait of Dover as well. So we have seen which all peninsular regions have we seen so far? We have seen the case of Kola Peninsula, here Kola Peninsula. Then we have seen the Scandinavian Peninsula, Jutland, Denmark and northern part of Germany. Then here we have seen the Brittany Peninsula. And this entire region is called as Peninsula, Iberian Peninsula. This is located Spain, Portugal. This region is called as the Iberian Peninsula. Coming towards this region, this is which nation? Rome is the capital. This nation is Italy, Italian Peninsula. Similarly, this region, this extended landmass here, Balkan Peninsula, right? Similarly, come to this Black Sea region, right? So this is Ukraine here, and here we know that this is Russia, and this Crimean Peninsula was annexed illegally by Russia, and this is called as the Crimean Peninsula, Crimea Peninsula, this region. Okay, we'll take a detailed look at this region later, but anyway, now quickly revise the major peninsula region in the Europe. So Kola Peninsula, it is located here. Then here we have Scandinavian Peninsula. Then we have the Jutland, which is located here. Similarly, here we have the Brittany Peninsula located here, and this is the Iberian Peninsula. Here we have Italian Peninsula. This is Balkan Peninsula. Then we have the Crimean Peninsula. So we have seen 8 major peninsula region in the Europe. Try to remember this name. Now we'll talk about the rivers. As we discussed earlier, the rivers, there are a large number of rivers that you need to remember. You can see here, lot of blue lines, right? So we'll talk about the major rivers, right? The most important rivers as well as the major rivers. Regarding rivers, we'll start from this region. This is the Ural River, which is located here, acting as a natural border between Asia as well as Europe. It is draining into Caspian. When it comes to rivers, UPSC has earlier asked a question regarding where the rivers are flowing into. So thereby you should be studying these areas, especially these 6 rivers. It's very important. 1 to 6 is very important rivers. Should be studying it and where it is draining into, right? There are 2 rivers that are draining into the Caspian. So this is Caspian Sea, this is Black Sea. 2 rivers that are draining into the Caspian Sea. The first one is Ural River. The second one is the Volga River. The longest river in Europe is the Volga River. And if you're excluding Russia from Europe, if you're considering only countries that are completely in Europe, the longest river, it would be Danube River. This will be the Danube, which is draining into the Black Sea. But remember the 2 cases, the first one Ural River, second one Volga River. Okay. Similarly, from this region, another river is originating and it is draining into the Sea of Azov. Sea of Azov, which is the Don River. Don River, right? So there are this Ukraine here is located here in these regions, and here we have different rivers also. So this remember the case of Don River, right? Then another one passing through the Ukraine, passing through the capital city of Ukraine, Kiev. Which river? Dnipro or Dnieper. Different pronunciation is there for this particular river. So Dnipro sometimes mentioned in articles like this. Also in Atlas it is mentioned like this, Dnieper. So both are same. Dnipro, both are same. You can see here this river is originating from Russia. Very important fact. It is originating from Russia, which is passing through Belarus. Then it is entering into Russia and draining into the Black Sea. Which river is draining into the Sea of Azov? Don River. Don River is draining into Azov. The ones that are draining into the Caspian, Volga River and Ural River. And this Dnieper or Dnipro, this river is draining into the Black Sea. Then nearby here, so this is the border of the Ukraine. Okay. This is the border of the Ukraine. And here we have studied earlier Moldova, right? So border river between Ukraine and Moldova is Dniester, right? That also you remember, Dniester. Then another river is the Danube River, which is originating from here Alps. When you look at here we have Switzerland, Austria. So these regions were studied earlier, these the Alps mountain, elevated region, right? So the rivers will be flowing down the slope. You can see from here, the rivers are originating northward, eastward, southward, right? Different regions, the different directions the rivers are flowing because of this elevation only. So the Danube River, it's a very long river flowing through various capital cities here, right? So this river is the Danube River, the second longest river in Europe and the longest if you're excluding Volga. So here this is also draining into the Black Sea. So Black Sea, these rivers Don, Dnipro or Dniester, Danube, all are starting with D. Okay. These rivers are draining into the or flowing into the Black Sea. Very important fact. Remember this. 1 to 6 is very important rivers. Okay. Then you can here see this is Italy and Rome is located here. The river that is draining into through the city of Rome is the Tiber. Okay. And it is passing very near to Vatican City, not exactly through the Vatican City. So Tiber River is here. Now when it comes to the location of these rivers, one peculiar thing you will be able to notice. There are a lot of rivers that you can see. This short list itself has 21 rivers, right? Most of these rivers, they're not draining into the Mediterranean. They are draining into the northern side because in this side we have elevated mountains. So this is how you should be able to remember where the Alps mountain is. Towards the south of the Europe, towards the Mediterranean side, we have the Alps mountain. And this Tiber River is one river that is draining into the Mediterranean. Okay, Tiber River is draining into the Mediterranean. Now, this one, next one, Po River, which you can see here, draining into the Adriatic Sea, which is in news also, which is here, Italy. This is very important region because of the agriculture and all, but this river here is having like a limited flow. Okay. Similarly, this region, Alps region, is witnessing drought conditions. Precipitation is less. Thereby, this particular Rhone River, Rhine River, Po River, right, also Danube, they all are having reduced flow, or there is high fluctuation in the water level is there in these rivers. You can see this similar region. This is a originating from the similar region, because the precipitation in this region will be providing water for these rivers. Okay, so River Po, which is flowing through the Italy located here. Okay, draining into the Adriatic Sea. Tiber River draining through the city of Rome, draining into the Mediterranean Sea. Now, this river, okay, from this tri-junction, from this region, you can see here Switzerland, this is France. From here, we are having Rhone. Okay, don't confuse the spelling of Rhone with the Rhine. Rhine is a very important river which is draining through the Germany, and Rhone is draining through here France. Okay, so Rhone is also draining into the Mediterranean. So two rivers we have seen right now draining directly into the Mediterranean. One is River Rhone and another one is River Rhine. Okay, remember these rivers, right? Another river is River Ebro. So all rivers I am discussing here, there is current affair relevance is there. Also there are major rivers from the Europe. So current affair relevance, mostly these rivers are in news because of the environmental degradation or reduced flow or drought conditions, right? Anyway, so Ebro River draining into the Mediterranean, Rhone River draining into the Mediterranean, major two rivers that are draining directly into the Mediterranean. Then here we can see here, this is the Tiber River, this is a Po River. Okay. Further, you can find here, this is Spain, this is Portugal. Capital of Spain is Madrid. Capital of Portugal is Lisbon. A river which is draining through the Lisbon, right? Flowing through the capital city of Portugal is the River Tagus. River Tagus. Okay. Further, coming toward this region, here we have France. Here we have France. Two rivers that are very important that you should be remembering. The one is Loire River, which is draining into the Bay of Biscay. Draining into Bay of Biscay. Another river, River Seine. River Seine is draining through Paris. So through the city of Tiber, through the city of Rome, it is Tiber. Through the city of Lisbon, it is Tagus. And through the city of Paris, it is Seine River. Now, these two rivers, they are important. You remember their position. The Seine River is draining through into the English Channel. Loire River is draining into the Bay of Biscay. Okay, the difference is there. In between that, we have the Brittany Peninsula. This is the Brittany Peninsula. Okay, fine. Now, the next important river is Rhine River. Starting from these regions, like here we have the Switzerland region. This is the Alps region. Right? This is Austria. From here, it is going towards the Germany, and this is also a border river between France and Germany. So France and Germany, the border river is Rhine. Rhine is the border river. So different type of questions you can expect based on the rivers. One type of question they have already asked, rivers where they are flowing into. Another would be the bordering rivers. Or another chance that they can ask is that they'll give you the cities and they'll ask you define the river that are draining through these cities. Okay. So expect this as well. Rhine. Another major important river within the Germany is the Elbe River. Elbe River. Okay. So here we have the Rhine River. Now the Elbe River is here. Elbe River, sorry. This is Oder River. This is the Elbe River. Elbe River is also draining into the North Sea. So there are two major rivers that you should be remembering from Germany. The first one is Rhine. Second one is Elbe. Okay. Both are draining into the North Sea. The another one is the river Oder. You can see here this river. Okay. Can you name which the two nations here? This is Germany. This is Poland. Okay. So the border river between Germany and Poland is the River Oder. River Oder is the border river between Germany and Poland. Now, next one, Vistula. Just remember its name, which is draining from here. It is a river through the longest river through the Poland, draining into the Baltic Sea. Okay. Now think about this. Germany, is it having access to Baltic Sea, or is it having access only to the North Sea? Think about it. Here we have this Oder river. Where is it draining into? Baltic Sea. So this is Baltic Sea. This is North Sea. Germany is having border, or is sharing border with both North Sea as well as Baltic Sea. Remember it. Border river between Germany and Poland. Also, we have talked about Rhine River, Elbe River, completely within, not completely, but within major rivers within the Germany. They all are originating from this region. What is the specialty of this region? Now that we have discussed about the mountains, you will be knowing it. This is the Alps mountain is located here. Okay, elevated region. Anyway, we have seen till the 17, Vistula, right, which is through the Poland, the longest river here in Poland, right? Then the next river, which is very important, current affair relevance, is the Niemen, right? Niemen River, he is here. You can see the 18 number marked here, Niemen River. Why this river is important? This is the Niemen River. Okay, I'll tell you why this is important. So this is Ukraine, this is Belarus. Okay, so this through the Niemen River, Ukraine can transport the grain through the Baltic Sea. Like earlier, there were issues where, like, because of the war, the Ukraine was unable to export the grains, right? So Lithuania had given a suggestion, because this Niemen River, even though it is starting from Belarus, it is passing through the Lithuania. So Lithuania has given an option to the Ukraine, suggesting that they can transport the grains through the Niemen River. So these kind of physical features which are mentioned in news, especially the geopolitics, world affairs, international relations, these rivers or these physical features, there is a high chance that they will be asking current affair based questions based on it, right? So it's a long list of rivers. We have seen we have seen only 18 rivers now, 3 more is left, right? So the next one is Thames. Thames River, UPSC has already asked a question where it is draining into. Now look at this. The Thames River, Thames, right? Thames. This Thames River, it is draining into the English Channel. Okay. Or you can say it is draining into this region, the Strait of Dover. Right? Here we have North Sea. This is the English Channel. It's more toward the North Sea. Right? Anyway, this is Atlantic. Now look at here. We have seen earlier in the Wales, we have the Cambrian Mountains. Okay. So the 2 major rivers, they are draining towards the east in the UK. The one Thames River, this is the Trent River. Thames, Trent. Okay. Thames, Trent. Both rivers are draining eastward, okay, into the North Sea. And what is the water body here? Irish Sea, right? Are these rivers draining into the Irish Sea? No. Because why? Here we have the Cambrian Mountain. Here we have the Pennine Mountain. So the elevation is relatively in the western side, so the rivers flow towards the eastern side. Also, the important river you should be remembering with regard to Ireland is a Shannon River. This is here, Shannon River. Okay, it is also draining into the Atlantic. So none of the major rivers here are draining into the Irish Sea. So we have seen major rivers, 21 rivers, especially the first 6. These rivers are very important. Also, the Niemen River is important because of the current affair relevance. Other major rivers in these regions, Rhone, Ebro, Tagus, Seine, Rhine, right? Niemen, Thames, these are the major rivers. Predominantly try to remember all these rivers, and you should be in a position to guess where it is flowing into and where its approximate location is. So regarding the physical features, we have studied the mountain regions, we have studied the rivers, we have studied the peninsula regions so far. Okay, next we'll talk about the major islands. You can see here, this is the Scandinavian islands. This one here is called as Svalbard Islands, okay, which is part of the Norway. Svalbard Islands. This is one of the northernmost extensions here. Then coming further south, this is the Baltic Sea, and here you can see this particular island, the largest island in the Baltic Sea, Gotland, right? Gotland here, this is the largest island in the Baltic Sea. Then coming towards here, this is UK, and this island stretch here, this is the Shetland Islands. Shetland Islands. Okay, this region is the Shetland. Shetland means these islands. Then we have also have the Faroe Islands, which are located here, Faroe Islands. These are the most or major islands here in the northern part. Coming towards the Mediterranean side, here we have the Balearic Islands, which are these various islands are located here. Balearic Islands, right? Now this is Italy, and this is this island, one of the largest island in the Mediterranean, Sicily. Similarly, another large island in the Mediterranean is Sardinia Island, right? The spelling is different in the atlas. Sardinia Island. This is Sardinia. This is Sicily, and this stretch of island here is the Crete Island, right? This is the Crete. Okay, so we have seen the major islands. I'll just show you another image where you will be able to clearly see the spelling as well. So you can see Svalbard in the northern part. Then here we have the Gotland here located. Then here we have the Faroe Island. Then the Shetland, which is part of the British. Then in here, these regions we have the Balearic. Then Sardinia, Sicily, and Crete Islands. Okay, so we have seen the major islands here. Now we need to discuss the bordering countries of these various major water bodies here. But before that, I'll show you the major lakes. Okay, so as of now, we have talked about the mountains, we have talked about the rivers, we have talked about the peninsula, we have talked about the islands, right? Now I'll show you the important lakes that you should be remembering with regard to Europe. After that, we'll come back to these portions where we'll talk about the bordering countries of the Mediterranean, the European side. Okay, bordering countries of the Mediterranean, bordering countries of Black Sea, bordering countries of Caspian, also bordering countries of the North Sea and Baltic Sea. These major regions also we'll look at in this today's session. Right now, we're going to take a look at the lakes, major lakes in the Europe. Largest lake here in the Europe is Lake Ladoga, right? This is the Lake Ladoga. Nearby another very large lake is Lake Onega. Both are in Russia itself. Here you can Ladoga, Onega. Similarly, nearby the Lake Ladoga, here we have Finland. This is Russia, this is Finland, and here we have Lake Seima. Okay, this is also located in almost a border lake. Okay, this is the location of the Seima Lake. Similarly, we can see here this is Baltic Sea, and also here in nearby Estonia, or as a border lake between Estonia and Russia, is Lake Peipus. Okay, another lake here is the largest freshwater lake here in Sweden, Vaneen, right? Vaneen is located here. And in the Scotland, the one you should be remembering is Loch Ness, right? Ness is a river that is draining through the northern part of this lake. This is a water body, Loch Ness. Okay, sometimes these places are mentioned in news for various reasons, but large kind of controversies or disputes are not there, but still it is mentioned sometimes in news. Okay, similarly, this Lake Constance, you can see here, this is Switzerland, and this is the Austria, and this is Germany, right? So Lake Constance is in the tri-junction of Switzerland, Austria, and Germany. This is the Lake Constance, right? Similarly, we can find here Geneva, and here we can find the Lake Geneva, crescent-shaped lake here. Okay, Lake Geneva. Geneva, you must have heard about it, various important organizations, their centers, decisions, agreements has been made from here. Okay, and here you can see this is France and this is Switzerland, and that land border, right? Lake Geneva is shared between these two countries, France and Switzerland, right? So we have seen the major lakes in these regions. Remember these major lakes, okay? Loch Ness, Vaneen, Seima, Onega, Ladoga, Peipus. Okay, also we have seen the tri-junction shared between these regions Austria, Switzerland and Germany, Lake Constance. Similarly, Lake Geneva. Then another two lakes which are in the Italy region, Lake Como, very important. This is a wedding land location. The tourist location is there. The celebrities go there to have the wedding ceremony here, Lake Como. And similarly, another lake is Lake Garda. Okay, so remember the name of these lakes and where they are located. Remember it. Okay, so that you will be able to answer such questions, position-based or location-based questions. You will be able to answer with regard to these lakes. Now, as we discussed earlier, we'll start with the bordering countries or the major water bodies. Okay, in this image, we'll be discussing Mediterranean. We have talked about the African side earlier. I'm not going to that part. Rather, remember this very important detail that you need to remember. Portugal is not sharing border with Mediterranean. Only Spain is sharing border with Mediterranean. Then here we have France. Then here we have Monaco. Monaco is not a landlocked country. Rather, it is a port-based place. Monaco and Enclave within the France here. Then this entire stretch we have Italy, right? Then the Adriatic Sea, we have studied earlier the bordering countries of this Adriatic Sea: Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Montenegro, Albania, Greece. All these places are sharing border with Mediterranean. Also, we seen that the Turkey is sharing border with Mediterranean Sea, and Crete is also sharing border with the Mediterranean. And here you can see the Cyprus. Sometimes the controversy is there between the Greece and Turkey. Northern part was illegally occupied by the Turkey dissidents, like the people that has been settled here in Cyprus from Turkey. They have occupied the northern part. The southern part is an internationally recognized place as well. Okay, so we have seen the countries that are bordering the Mediterranean. The next one, Black Sea. Okay, in the Black Sea, here we have Turkey. Also, here we have Russia is located. Then Ukraine, Moldova is not sharing border with Black Sea. Rather, two nations, Romania and Bulgaria. Remember this. Also, when we look at this Asian region here, the stands, the Central Asian region, the Georgia is also sharing border with the Black Sea. Okay, so moving further, this is North Sea. Okay, in the case of North Sea, that you need to understand, first of all, Norway is sharing border with North Sea. Then the Scotland, England, Wales, the UK is sharing border with North Sea. Then coming towards here, you can see this is Strait of Dover, and France is sharing border with North Sea, right? And the river that is passing through London, Thames River, is draining into the North Sea here. Then you can see here two nations which we discussed earlier, right? The Portugal, Spain, then talked about France, then Belgium and Netherlands. That small two nations, Belgium, Brussels, and then Netherlands, Amsterdam. These two places are also sharing border with North Sea. Also, we can see here Denmark is sharing border with North Sea. Germany is open to North Sea as well. Okay, Germany is open to both Baltic as well as North Sea. So we have seen the countries that are sharing border with the North Sea. Next one, the Baltic Sea. Okay, Baltic Sea, Baltic nations, three of them. In the alphabetical order, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. Also, Russia is sharing border with Baltic Sea through two regions. One through the Gulf of Finland, another one through the Kaliningrad. Okay, Kaliningrad. Then the Baltic Sea, think about that region, the three nations. Out of that, Norway is not sharing border with Baltic Sea. Rather, Sweden and Finland both are sharing border with the Baltic Sea. Okay, this island is the Gotland Island, which we discussed earlier. Denmark is also sharing border with Baltic Sea. Also, Germany is also sharing border with Baltic Sea. It's important to remember Norway is not sharing border with Baltic Sea. Another fact you can remember is that Norway is sharing border with Russia, not Sweden. So, Norway is through top. Here you can see Norway is through top is going all the way to the Russia. Next, we'll talk about major volcanoes that you need to remember, the active volcanoes that you need to remember from Europe. In the case of Europe, in the north on these sides, like we don't relatively have the volcanic formation. Volcanic landforms are there, but active volcanoes are not present right there. It is mostly towards the like the southern portion we are having the volcanoes, especially because of this plate tectonics, like the collision that has happened there, the Alps mountain creation, they all are related with each other. Apart from that, we have the volcanoes here in Iceland also. So here in Italy, we have major three volcanoes here: Vesuvius, Stromboli. Stromboli is sometimes called as lighthouse of the Mediterranean. Then we have Etna. Etna is very active, so much so that even at the time of this session also, the Etna is actively erupting. So Vesuvius, Stromboli, Etna, these three are here in Italy. Remember that. And in the Spain, like here, these are Canary Islands. These are more related with the Africa, right? The Canary Islands also, remember this name also. This particular volcano also recently was in news, Cumbre Vija, right? So that remember. Then once coming back to this this particular region here in Iceland. As you can see here, this is the Atlantic Ocean. This ridge here, this is the mid-Atlantic ridge where the plates are moving away from each other. It is passing through the Iceland. Okay, and because of that, the Iceland, this fault is actually passing through Iceland. Because of that, this particular peninsula is a frequent eruption. Because of the frequent eruption, this particular peninsula, this region here, Reykjanes Peninsula, right? This region is in news, and because of the continuous eruption. Also, this volcanic mountain Hekla, remember the name. So Stromboli, Etna, Vesuvius, Hekla. Remember these 4 names are the active volcanoes here in Europe. Now we will talk about the disputes or the places that are creating controversy that you should be remembering. Relatively, apart from this ongoing war, Russia-Ukraine, and that eastern side war that is going on, this region does not have much territorial disputes, even though there are disputes, but it is not very severe, much like any other non-European countries. Regarding the Russia-Ukraine war, various places are in news, and UPSC also has multiple times asked these questions, also places based on these regions, right? So we'll cover all the places that are in news. There is a high chance that UPSC will be asking question based on it. So you remember these 4 places, study them together. Okay, these 4 places, study them together. Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, Kherson. These are 4 portions, the eastern Ukraine, that are annexed by Russia. Okay, and this Crimean Peninsula was annexed earlier. This is Sea of Azov. This is a Kerch Peninsula, Kerch. Right. So I'll show you some of the images that has been in news regarding the place, through which we'll be discussing these places. Okay. So another one important place is Bakhmut, where the major battle has gone. Bakhmut, then Mariupol. Similarly, another region here is Kriniki, right? And Crimean Peninsula we have seen earlier. So these regions, remember, especially Bakhmut, Mariupol, right, and Kriniki, these 3 regions you remember, right? Further moving forward, we'll be able to find this Kriniki region earlier, also Kherson, and we have seen the Dnipro. Here it is written as Dnipro. Dnipro, both are same. Okay. Then another place you should be remembering is the Sevastopol, right? Mariupol we have seen earlier, Sevastopol, then Yalta, right? Yalta is located here, then Alupka, right? Now the reason why these places are in news is not very important, rather it is because of the Ukraine-Russia war, and the most important places or annexed places or any say nuclear power plant was there, Zaporizhzhia, right? They asked a question regarding that. Also recently, a dam was collapsed in that region, and there are high chances that they can ask questions from these areas that are more prominently appearing in news with regard to the war. There's a high chance that they will be asking questions based on it. So I have identified all these places with regard to Ukraine and Russian war that are in news. We'll talk them we talk about them one by one. The most important thing that you should be remembering about these places is that you should be able to identify these places that are related with this Ukraine-Russia issue that you should be able to understand, right? We have seen earlier Luhansk, Bakhmut, Donbas, right? Donetsk. Here where there is a river also nearby this, we had talked about earlier, the Don River, right? And this river is a tributary of the Donets, right? Donnets, Donets River. From this, Donetsk is getting name from this river, Donets River, right? Donets River is not directly draining into the Sea of Azov. This is a Sea of Azov. Rather, it is a tributary of the river Don. This is the river Don, and this is the Donets River starting from here. Okay. Then coming further towards the port regions, we can Mariupol, Melitopol, Zaporizhzhia. Zaporizhzhia here is Europe's largest nuclear plant, which is since 2022, since the beginning of the war, this region is controlled by Russia. Then here, Kakhovka, right? This region, it's a dam is located here, Nova Kakhovka. Here, this region, this is That dam you can see in this water body, you can see here. Okay, so this region was like, partially was collapsed, and they had to stop operation, affecting large number of people. The electricity distribution was here, it was affected. Kherson we have seen earlier, very important place, it's located here. Then another important place here in Ukraine is Odisha, the natural heritage site, and this is regarded as one of the natural heritage sites in danger, right? This was provided, or that title was provided to Odisha, right, which is a port city here in Ukraine. Then another one, this is the Crimean Peninsula, and we have seen earlier that this Russia is connected with the Crimean Peninsula through a particular bridge, which is a Kerch bridge or the Crimean bridge, and this is the Sea of Azov. This is the Black Sea, and they are connected by this particular strait called as Kerch Strait. You can see this bridge, right? So the Kerch Strait is going on through this manner, and this bridge, during the war was damaged also, which was in news, right? So remember these places with regard to Ukraine-Russia war. Regarding these places are important. Similarly, the rivers, the Kiev is located here, and the river that is draining through the Kiev is the Dnipro or Dnieper river, that also you remember. So we have seen the places that are in news regarding the Russia-Ukraine war. Now we'll talk about the other disputes and the places that you need to remember with regard to Europe. Regarding the disputes going on here, the one is between France and Italy. Here we have Italy is located here, France is located here, and here we have the Alps mountain, right? And in Alps mountain, the highest peak in the Alps mountain is Mont Blanc. The France and Italy, their border is settled, but in the Mont Blanc, this mountain, different sites are claimed. The claim is not settled. Okay, so remember the case of Mont Blanc. Okay, the next one is Spain and UK. Spain is located here, UK is located here. How are they related? Because of the Gibraltar dislocation, which is part of UK, but based on the many referendums done so far, the people there choose to be part of the British overseas territory, right? So Spain and UK dispute through Gibraltar. Then Spain, another thing is that here we have Andorra, right? Between this nation, between France and landlocked country, between Spain and France, we have Andorra, and this region, Andorra comes inside this region. This region is the Catalonia. They want to be a separate sovereign country, but as of now they haven't separated completely. So Catalonia also, you remember, so often it is mentioned in news. Okay, then Greece and Turkey. Greece and Turkey has multiple issues between them. So where is Greece? So this is Greece, right? And Greece is sharing border with Turkey in this portion, and here we have Turkey. This is also Turkey. So the one dispute is regarding the Cyprus. Cyprus in this image here, as I mentioned earlier, the northern part is illegally occupied by the Turkey dissidents. So these places has a Greek as well as Turkish related people. So definitely Greek and Turkey will be supporting their own settlements. So the southern part of the Cyprus is internationally recognized, and the northern part is not internationally recognized, right? Then another dispute between these nations are between Greece and Turkey. We have the Aegean Sea, right? So Aegean Sea, various islands are there, and maritime disputes are there, and regarding that Imia or Karthak, right? Both are same, different name for the same place, Imia or Karthak. Remember that it is a dispute between the Greece and the Turkey. Then another one is here Serbia. Then this is Kosovo. We have seen earlier Kosovo got separated from Serbia. So Serbia, Kosovo, remember that. And Serbia is, northern part of Serbia is bordering with Hungary, which is not part of the Balkan nations, right? And then Moldova. Remember this nation or this name, Transnistria, right? Transnistria. So this place, Moldova, is located here, the eastern portion of this Moldova, Transnistria. So they wanted to be a separate place, but as of now, they are not entirely separate, and there are issues going on there. And there is also issues with regard to Russia also. The tensions are there in this region. Okay. The next one is Slovenia and Croatia. Slovenia, where is Slovenia located? Here, bordering the Adriatic Sea. Below that we have Croatia, and they have like the dispute based on Bay of Piran. So remember this Bay of Piran also, which is located here. So in this session, we have this been a very long session, and I really appreciate the fact that you're still here, still like eager to learn. We have talked about the political features, we have talked about the physical features, we have talked about the current affair related with this Europe region. Regarding the physical features itself, we have covered all the aspects, right? Now what left in today's session is the previous questions. Now we'll solve the previous question that are related with Europe. So many of these questions we have seen earlier when we were talking about the Africa session. I've shown you the question because the map-based questions, they're not related to one place alone. They always try to link multiple places, and multiple places will be in one question. Okay, so that we will get confused, right? But if you're studying this thoroughly, if you're revising this properly, there you will not be getting confused. And make sure you are marking these places in Atlas, and make sure you're noting down these ideas in the map notebook. Just noting down is not enough. I know the exam is for the prelims examination, the revision is very important. So multiple times you have to revise. So everything I discussed in this session, it's like we will not be able to completely remember it as such, right? But make sure you create your own links, you create your own identify the important places. So few details, but multiple revision is required. Okay, so the important things I have mentioned here in these sessions, make sure you are revising it multiple times. Also, I hope you have revised the previous topics as well, North America, South America, Africa. I hope you have done those areas also multiple times. Do revise those areas, right? Now we'll start with the previous questions that are related with Europe. Okay, we'll go through the previous questions. This is the question that was asked in 2023. In 2023, you can see this particular question. On one side, we have given regions often mentioned in news. North Key, Vittori, we have seen in the Africa session. The second option, we are yet to study it. It's actually related with Armenia and Azerbaijan. Also, we have seen in the third option, you can see in here, Kherson, Zaporozhye, right? Dispute between Israel and Lebanon, which is wrong. Rather, this is because of in news because of the Russia-Ukraine war. Okay. Now see that question, region often mentioned in news. Reason for being in news. Too much depth is not there. Unlike the other, the static portion, like the economy, polity, or geography. Like the static portion, the questions, it will be conceptually very deep, right? Surface level understanding may not suffice. But here in the map-based questions, I've been saying this repeatedly, these are low-hanging fruit. If you change your mindset and if you study this properly, right, one time, then you will be in a position, the questions are easy, you will be in a position to crack it easily. If you know that region, if you have read about it, if you have revised it, you will easily be able to answer this. So Kherson, Zaporozhye is the third option is incorrectly matched, right? Fine. Then moving to the second question, consider the following pairs. Area of conflict mentioned in news, country where it is located. Donbas, Kachin, Tigray, right? Donbas is given as Syria. Donbas is actually located in Ukraine. Regarding Russia-Ukraine war, this question was asked. Tigray is in Ethiopia, right? Similarly, so this is 2023 PYQ. This is also 2023 PYQ. So we have solved two PYQs that are related with Europe. So we have seen two questions. Okay, now third one. See how much importance they have given to the geopolitics. The third question, consider the following countries. 6 countries are given here. How many of the above mentioned countries share a land border with Ukraine? Okay, now try to pause the video and try to solve this question yourself. Okay, fine. I hope you have done that. And here we will be able to, when you get questions like this, among the options, there will be areas that you can easily eliminate. Absurd options will be there. So if you know that area with blindly, you will be able to eliminate certain topics like that. But there will be other options that will be slightly more confusing. So more number of options or statements here, the easier the question becomes, right? So here, consider the following countries. Countries are given. Land border with Ukraine is a question. So we have read the question and going through the options, only 2, only 3, only 4, only 5. This is a 2023 new pattern question, right? So Bulgaria, Czech Republic, Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Romania. 2 places you can easily remove from it. Latvia and Lithuania. We have seen it earlier. 3 nations, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. In between, there is a large nation, Belarus. Also towards the west, we have west of the Lithuania, we have Poland. After the Belarus, only the Ukraine comes. So there is no way the Ukraine can share border with Latvia and Lithuania. So these two can be eliminated. Okay. Then when we are looking at it, like, Czech Republic, we have studied Czech Republic. It's a center surrounded only by 4 nations, going from left to right: Germany, Poland, Slovakia, and then we studied that there is Austria, right? So here Czech Republic is in that center. Definitely it's not sharing border with Ukraine. Rather, Slovakia is sharing border with Ukraine, right? So this one is also not correct. So we can eliminate this, Czech Republic also can be eliminated, right? Then we have seen from Bulgaria, Romania. We have seen that we studied them together. The northern part we studied the Romania, southern part is Bulgaria. Bulgaria is open to the Black Sea, but it is more near to the Mediterranean side. So the Bulgaria, Ukraine is not sharing border with Bulgaria because there is Moldova and Romania on top of that, right? So it is sharing, the Ukraine is sharing border with Romania, which is true. Also the Ukraine is sharing border with Hungary. We have seen also that, right? It is sharing the Hungary, that small portion is sharing border with, just below the Slovakia, we have the Hungary. So here only 2 is the answer. Okay. So if you have written this 2023 prelims, whether you made this right or not, please do let me know. Okay. So 3 questions we have seen, 2023 questions. Now the 4th question, it was asked in 2022. Consider the following pairs: region often mentioned in news, country. Right? Again, the same pattern they're going on, right? So you don't need in-depth understanding. You just need to know where these places are and the context in which it appeared in news, right? So here we have region on the left side, on the right side we have the country. So Anatolia, Amhara, Cabo Delgado, Catalonia. So here we have solved this question earlier. I'm just mentioning that the ones that are related with the Europe, which is Catalonia, right? We have seen earlier the Catalonia region, the issue for sovereignty, the referendum going on there, and it is bordering the Spain and it is bordering the Mediterranean side. So Catalonia issue is related with Spain. So if you can find this Catalonia, Spain, definitely where the Spain is given, mostly this will also be wrong. So if you know Catalonia, you are getting 2 options wrong. Okay, Cabo Delgado we have studied earlier, it's in Mozambique, right? So these 2 options are wrong. Amhara we have studied Ethiopia, which is right. Anatolia, which is in Turkey. So here the answer will be B, which is only 2 pairs. Anyway, they focus on here. Catalonia is part of Spain, not on Italy. But see how they are asked that question. Okay, similarly, other disputes also can be asked. Then look at this question 2020. The reverse based question which I mentioned earlier. On this side, you can see the reverse. On this side, it is given flows into, right? In this, we have to find the Thames River, right? The Thames River, it is given here, it is draining into the Irish Sea. Remember the mountains in the 2 mountains, Pennine Mountain and Cambrian Mountain, which we talked about in the UK. Because of that, the 2 rivers there, Thames and Trent, they are draining into the eastern side, into the North Sea. Okay, Thames is not draining into the Irish Sea. In fact, Shannon, the river in Ireland, is also not draining into the Irish Sea. So Irish Sea, none of the major rivers are draining into the Irish Sea. So here this option is wrong. Okay. Okay, this is 2019 question, 6th question. Try to find the answer for this. You will be able to find this answer for this. Try to pause and find the answer. Okay. Hope you have done it. So here on the left side, we can see the sea. On the right side, we can see the bordering country. So Adriatic Sea, Albania, which is true. Adriatic Sea, Albania. So before we, now imagine that if we study this area and we are solving this question, right? Imagine you are getting this question for the prelims. How would you approach this? It's a 5-statement question. The one way in which you should read, this is the first part you should be reading the question. This is a second part of the question. This is a third part and this is a fourth. I'm dividing the question into 4 parts. This initial, mostly it will be same. Then the second part where the statements are given. Third part what the question is. Fourth part the options, right? Always read the question from 1, skip the 2, then come to the 3 so that you will get the question. So this question is regarding which of the pair given above are correctly matched. It is not incorrectly matched or not correctly matched. Rather, what is asked is correctly matched. Okay, so we understood the question, it is correctly matched. Going through the options. At the 5 statement question, there will be lot of repeating options will be there. 1, 2, 4. 1, 3, 4. So 4 is repeating here, right? 4 is also here. Then we can see 1 is in many options. Then 2 is also in 3 options, right? So there are different options here. Multiple options are there in 3. So you can pick any one of them. Adriatic Sea, you can pick Adriatic Sea. It's in Albania. So if you know that knowledge, one should be right. Okay, because this is correctly matched. So first option should be there. So because of which you can eliminate the C option. 2 and 5, right? Eliminated. So what it did here is when I read the first option, Adriatic Sea, Albania, I know the option. Considering that I know the option, before reading the second option, I am coming to the options. I am eliminating. So that now I only need to read A, B and D, and I will analyze A, B and D. Then only I will go back to the second part. Okay, so A, B and D, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so in this, which one is common? 4 is common. So 4, Morocco, Mediterranean, this is correct. Without knowing it, we understood it, right? Because we eliminated and found it. Now compare it to, like, is there any repeating option? 1 is correct, 1 is already correct, because of that we got this. Then 2 and 3. Right, 2 is in the first option and D option. 3 is in the B and D only. Now going to the 2. Black Sea, Croatia. We have seen earlier Black Sea is where Croatia is not located there. Rather, Croatia is sharing border with the Adriatic Sea. Just below the Slovenia, where we have the Croatia, they also have the dispute also going on between them. And this, because of that knowledge, right, Black Sea, Croatia is not correct. Okay, now before reading the third option, coming back to the options, the ones with 2, this cannot be right because 2 is there, right? This also cannot be right because 2 is there. I am removing them and I am getting the answer 1, 3 and 4. 1, 3 and 4. 1, Adriatic Sea, Albania. 3, Caspian Sea, Kazakhstan. Yes, we have seen it earlier in the session. 4, Mediterranean Sea, Morocco. That also we have seen, right? So through the elimination method, you will be able to find the answer. And now in the recent pattern, there are pair type of questions, like only 2 pair, only 1 pair, only 3 pair. With that also, the statements, individual statements, you will be able to eliminate. Earlier we have seen the Catalonia, Spain. So if Spain is given in somewhere else in the pair, most probably it will be wrong. That also a kind of like an elimination method you can use, right? Now coming to the 7th question. Okay, coming to the 7th question. Now that is not completely related with here, but I have included it here because of the Black Sea and the Baikal. Which of the following has or have shrunk immensely or dried up in the recent past due to the human activities? Black Sea and Lake Baikal is given. Lake Baikal is in Russia, but is in the Asian side and not in the European side. Black Sea we have seen earlier, it's not immensely drying up. Look at the word here. Which of the following has or have shrunk? Shrunk means drying up. Immensely. Okay, immensely dried up. Or immensely or dried up. Dried up means it's no more there. Immensely means large part it has shrunk. So this is a keyword used by the exam setter, the question setter, to make sure that the question is right at all times. Okay, the vehicles should not be there in the UPSC questions. Because of that, they use these kind of keywords. These keywords, if you notice, you will be in a position to eliminate various options. So immensely or dried up, which doesn't mean that small kind of drought or seasonal fluctuation, we shouldn't be considering it. And there is a decade-long process of water, river diversion is there because of that a particular lake has dried up completely. That should be considered here, right? Anyway, I'm not discussing the answer for that. Then moving on to the next question. Okay, see this question, Turkey. Turkey is located between Black Sea, Caspian, Black Sea, Mediterranean, Gulf of Suez, Mediterranean, Gulf of Aqaba, Dead Sea. These options we have been seen, but anyway, the correct answer here is the between Black Sea and Mediterranean Sea, we have the Turkey. So try to remember these questions were asked at the prime time when the Turkey is in news. Similarly, like with Turkey and other nations, most often they will be in news also. So such nations which are in news try to identify their location from the atlas, and these kind of questions can be asked. This was asked in 2014. So there is a pattern going on there that the old type of question, they will convert them into a new question. Maybe these options can become a new question, right? So try to solve these questions properly. Now the 9th question, just wanted to show you, region shown in news, it's 2014. Recently also we are able to see such questions. So this is not a new pattern. They have been asking this from very long time onwards. So here the reason why I showed you this question, Chechnya is near the Georgia, right, which is part of the Russian Federation only, which is right. Then Darfur, Mali, no, Darfur is in Sudan, and here Sword Valley is in not in Iraq, rather it is in Pakistan. So we have seen 9 questions that has been asked related to the Europe. So this has been a long session. I hope you understood everything. If you have any doubts, please feel free to reach out to me. Also, as I told you, revision is the key factor here. So I've done the foundation for you. I've done the basic work for you. I've linked all these topics. Try to study it today itself, or whenever you are seeing this video, that day itself try to study using the atlas or the notebook. Don't try to simply skip through the portions, rather listen carefully, write it down and mark it in the atlas and revise repeatedly. Okay, I hope you liked today's session. I'll see you in the next one. The next video we'll start our discussion with the Asia. I've divided the Asia into various portions, and we'll be discussing the Asia in the coming sessions. Once again, I hope you liked this session, and thank you for watching.